Hi, my name is Johan. I'm from Sweden, and today I'm going to show you a technique you can use when you're doing some skin retouch. This technique is for shadows and highlights, for making the skin look smoother. You can find me on facebook.com, Johan Erik Norman Photography, or johannorman.com from a homepage. So let's start. Here is a photo of Katrina. I took this some years ago, and what I want to do is make the skin smoother in the shadow parts. You can see the nose here. There are some contrast in the shadows. Same here, and the skin, the chin. I can do this with dodge and burning, but if you have many images you need to work on, it takes time to dodge and burn the shadows and highlights, the dark spots or the light spots, the shadows. So I'm going to show you a technique how you can make this much faster. I create 2 copies of my layer, go to filter, other, and high pass, and what I'm doing now is only analyze the skin textures, the highlights and shadows. So if you start with a lower radio, you just see the skin texture, and if I go higher, like 27, I can start seeing the shadow parts, the contrast in the shadow at the nose and the chin, and that's what I want to change. So I think 27 is it's a good number here. Press cancel. I'll go to my first copy of the layers and go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and have pressed the radius 27, the same radius, the same number I got from my high pass analyze, and press OK. Mark the first layer, go to image, apply image. This is exactly the same technique as high frequency separation. So I chose the smooth, the blurred layer, layer 1. I use invert, the blending mode add, scale 2, offset 0. I'm using 16-bit colors when retouching skin because I want the tonal range in the shadows, etc. And press OK. Now I get rid of the blurred layer and go back to blur, Gaussian blur, and in this case I will blur it with a value divided by 3. So I take 27 and divide it by 3 and get 9. Why use the number 3 is because that was a number I found out from Natalia Taffarel as some magic number. And it works in many situations. So radius 9, OK, and now I invert. I go to image adjustments and invert it. You can use Command I for a shortcut. When that's done, I'll go to my blending mode and to vivid light. So, and what you can see here is before and after image, and as you can see there are much more smoothness in the shadow part. So I go for create a inverted layer mask, use a brush tool, white, opacity 100, and just bring this layer in the dark areas to make the shadow much smoother. You can do this with highlights as well to decrease the highlights if you think that's too bright. You can fix the eye. You can use this technique with different radius values to manipulate many areas to get it much more better. You can use it on the lips, as you see here, make the lips look a little bit better. can fix something here, and here's the before and the after. Before and after. I use this technique after or before I do the dodge and burn, because it helps me save lots of time in very contrast areas like the cheek, the chin, the nose, and to fix some highlights. So it's very useful if you want to save time, if you have lots of image you need to fix. And don't forget, you need to use dodge and burn and other techniques as well. This is just one technique to make that process much faster. So I can show you another way to make this high pass inverted high pass layer as well. Go for Command J, just one copy of the layer, go back to other high pass, get number 27, and this time I press OK. Then I go to image, adjustment, brightness and contrast, and here's a very interesting choice. Choose legacy. After Photoshop CS3, Adobe changed the algorithm for brightness and contrast and added this use legacy for the old way to handle the contrast. So I will use the old way. So I use legacy, and at the contrast I press -50. And what I'm doing now when pressing OK is to get the exactly same high pass layer as with apply image. But in this case I do not need to make two copies of the layer, make it blurry and apply image. I just used high pass, and then in the contrast use legacy and -50 and get the same result. And now I go for the blur, Gaussian blur, the number 9 as before. The high pass was 27, I divide by 3, I get 9, and I do the blurring, and then I invert the high pass, go to vivid light, and get this exactly the same high pass, inverted high pass layer as before, and create a mask, invert it, and then start bring it on in the shadow part, maybe the highlight, and the skin, where I think I need to get rid of some dark contrasts. I can use it here as well, here. This is the before and this is the after. I hope you find this tip very useful, and I hope this will help you save time when retouching skins. Thank you, see you.